Hello, everybody. This is Darren Redmond for Redmond's Wrap Up, brought to you by FHT Sports for Thursday, April 26th. Tonight, the Fresno Grizzlies were back in action against the Tacoma Rainiers, and much like we've seen early in this season so far, this very successful early season, the Fresno Grizzlies displayed some great pitching behind Buddy Boshears, some timely hitting, specifically tonight, J.D. Sparks with a go-ahead double in the 8th inning as the Fresno Grizzlies pulled ahead for good in that 8th inning and defeated the Tacoma Rainiers by a score of 4-3. That makes 8 home games in a row for the Grizzlies coming out on top. So make sure you get out to Chansey Park and support the team, and they're really doing great. One more game against the Tacoma Rainiers tomorrow night, and then the River Cats come in. So they are 15-6 overall. They're really making a mark in the Pacific Coast League. Timely hitting, great pitching, really cerebral baseball, real fun to watch. So great job by the Grizzlies. They stay hot. They continue to be on a roll. Tomorrow night, a lot of action. Game 4, do or die for the San Jose Barracuda. They're down 2-1 in the best of 5. So they got pretty much shellacked 6-0 last night. I look for there to be a turnaround. They're just too good in net. They're just too good with the with their skating and their speed. They're playing a tough team. Tucson finished number 1. But I don't see them leaving this series quietly. I would not be surprised if it goes to a Game 5 on Saturday. So we're going to keep you abreast of that. Also, as you know, Fresno State baseball, Air Force is coming in. So if you get an opportunity, get out there and watch them play against Air Force. It's really important right now to rack up the wins and get themselves going in the right direction for the Mountain West Conference championships that will be coming up soon. And it's critical, in my opinion, that Fresno State wins that to get a seat into the playoffs that are coming up very shortly. Then, similar situation, but this time it is the Fresno State Lady Bulldogs who are on top of the Mountain West right now, where they have a 2-game lead on Boise State, and they're up in Boise State. So that should be very interesting. Every game will be pivotal. But I also believe with the Fresno State Bulldogs softball team, they need to win the Mountain West Conference to earn the right to participate in the playoffs. So both teams pretty much know what they have to do at this point. So we'll be watching that as well. So a lot of activity. I want to talk a little bit about the NFL draft that went on Thursday evening. I'm not going to go point by point who each team selected. Much like I talked about the other day, I'm more into philosophies. How do the analytics work? Not just can the person jump a certain distance and speed and some canned, manipulated film that people see. Did you help your team at a very specific position? Did you do something to help the team? So, for example, and again, I follow the Jets and I follow the Raiders. I look at what the Jets did, for example. They needed a quarterback. It wasn't like, well, this greatest quarterback in the world is available. Let's take him even though we may not need him and sit him on the bench a couple of years. Isn't that funny, too? In the old days, it used to be, well, the quarterback can't start right away. It's too tough for him. That he's got to sit a couple of years and get seasoned. And sometimes that makes a lot of sense. We've seen that happen time and again. Aaron Rodgers is a perfect example of that. But we've also seen people come in and win big right away. And so Peyton Manning is a great example of that. And it's not as rare as you think. Derek Carr, he started by his first year. As soon as he came in, you knew he was the starter. So you see that in Jacksonville as well. So you see that, and then you see what happened with the Raiders. I love what they did. Exactly what I spoke about the other day. And that is trading down for you, and because you know what your needs are. So you trade down, you get some ancillary picks that you can fill in the rest of your team with, maybe alleviate some salary cap situation, and you got the offensive lineman you needed to protect your prized possession, and that's Derek Carr. You saw other teams do that as well. The Buffalo Bills traded up to get somebody right out of the Central Valley here, which is terrific, and we wish him well. And you had some teams like the New England Patriots, who I just despise the Patriots, but I really respect what they do. I'm a Jet fan. I can't like the Patriots. But again, they sat stood pat. They made some draft picks, and that's what they do. They get a lot of these players that are very good, that they scout, but they get very few of these superstars. But they get good, tough players that understand the system. And that's what you see, I think, it migrating to more and more. So it was an interesting draft. Love to hear what your comments are. Are you happy with who your team picked? If so, why? I know I was on some bulletin boards and talking to some people back and forth about the selections. And it's funny because sometimes people initially didn't like it. And then they're like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. And then you see it vice versa. So I hope your team picked well for you. I was pretty happy with the selections my two teams picked. Very happy, actually. So we'll see what happens there. Not saying that the Jet quarterback is going to be a prized possession. We don't know. Because the last person that came out of that school, Mark Sanchez, ran into his own center and fumbled the ball. Though he did get the team to close to the AFC Championship a couple times and then just exploded. So we'll see what happens. I don't take a lot of what the so-called experts do with a grain of salt. Big believer in the eye test. So we'll see what happens there. So, again, to recap, we have the Barracuda playing tomorrow night. We have Fresno State baseball. We have Fresno State softball. We have the Fresno Grizzlies. FHT will be at a fundraising golf tournament, lending a hand, and we actually are sponsoring a hole for the original Fresno Falcons, the green and the gold. So we feel honored to be there as well. So anyway, that's it. Please like, share, and comment on our content right here. Not on the social media, not on the Facebook or on the Instagram. That's great too when you do that, but right on the YouTube page itself. That'll kind of help us as we build our FHT community that you're a part of, and we appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm sure that Uncle Tony and Serge the Guru have a lot to talk about concerning that San Jose Shark game. I'd love to talk about it, but I'm not going to. So that's it. Good day, everybody, and we'll talk with you soon.